good in what to do. Let me see how it works. Okay, so our motto is more people, more active, and more often. And where we have to talk about to develop national and international health and physical activity projects and methods to get sport. This is the title of our meeting now. And I would like to make some preliminary considerations to facilitate our discussion. The Article 165 of the Lisbon Treaty provides to the European Union with a soft competence on sport, and this is very, very important. Why? Because the European Union, since the year 2005, has started to put one eye on the sport sector through several actions. The first one was the European Platform for Action on Diet, Physical Activity and Health, which was issued in March 2005. Following with a white paper on the strategy for Europe on nutrition, overweight and obesity, related health issues. Okay? And this was a preliminary work to implement or to publish or to the white paper on sport, which happened in July 2007. Following to this, in 2008, we had the European Physical Activity Guidelines, which are a milestone in European history. And now we are changing from the spectrum of sport to physical activity, which is an important step. Very recently, less than a month ago, we had a Eurobarometer on health and food, which talks a lot about physical activity in the European countries. And just at the beginning of the month of April, we had the European-wide public consultation on the implementation of the new European competence in the field of sport. You see? So the European Commission is launching a public consultation open to everybody, which could go until I think June the 1st, and in the field of sport. So the European Commission wants to know what European citizens are thinking about sport, how it's performed in their countries, and this is very important. So, and the last but not least, very important issue was just last week with a paper which was presented, I can say not officially but unofficially, because it's been announced through official channels of the European Union. It's an examination on the threats of the sport activity. And this is important. Now, sport used to be taken as an example of good practice, best practice. And now we're talking about the threats in the sports sector. And that means that really that the European Commission wants to put one eye on what is going on. The focus of today's meeting should be on the white paper on sport, which gives some strategic orientation on the role of sport in Europe to encourage the debate on specific issues. And this is the aim, the main aim of the white paper on sport. But however, the document contains some very critical points, according to my point of view, and contradictions which should be debated very clearly to avoid future misunderstandings and to pave the way for a cooperative, constructive dialogue. Because if we don't clear our minds about contradictions, it will be very hard to foresee. And I think the first step in any setting, when you want to talk with somebody else, you have to use a proper terminology, first of all, and to know what the precise meanings of the words which we are going to use in order to achieve a common understanding. Therefore, it would be useful, according to my opinion, to define glossary terms so we can understand the choice more easily. What is sport and EPA, health enhancing physical activity? It's a long word, okay, which is abbreviated on the HEPA. Many people don't understand what is enhancing, improving, making better, but so anyway. In the definition of terminology, we should define in this process, analyze and define the relationship between sport and health enhancing physical. There is a relationship or not? It is important to establish what we mean by physical activity and the related terms. And then we have to go to talk about definitions. Yesterday was a nice presentation about health, about definitions, and the definitions, thanks God, I didn't know what I was going to say, but I'm going to say the same things that he said. So that means we are online. We think the same way, which is great. Two people in a group, without talking to each other, they agree and they talk the same language. What is physical exercise? What is physical activity? What is physical exercise? What is sport? What is physical fitness? And the European Food and Information Council on this website has given a very simple definition of what is physical activity. They say there is all body movements that result in energy expenditure. This includes all daily routine activities such as household jobs, shopping, working. So it's a broad concept of movement. It's any movement above resting position. Okay? Exercise. Exercise is a more structured. It's plain and structured, repetitive movements designed specifically to improve fitness and health. So we talk about setting up a system. Now, what is sport? It's a physical activity which involves structured competitive situations governed by rules. And I think the most important word in this sentence is rules. Sport has rules. All sports activities have rules, from swimming to football, tennis, all sports have rules. Skiing. But what about sports forever? Ever? Do we have rules forever or not? And what is physical activity? Physical fitness is a set of attributes such as stamina, mobility, and strength that are related to ability to perform physical activity. Okay? So we should concentrate our attention over this terminology, think very well about what it says, and start using proper terminology when we talk to each other. The term health enhancing physical activity is frequently used and in relation to the health benefits gained from physical activity. It should be understood as any form of physical activity that benefits health and functional capacity without undue harm or risk. This is the most important thing. No harm, no risk for the health of the patient. Meanwhile, practicing sport, very often we put our body in danger. Okay? Forget about overtraining, but also the contact with the other player or an accident. Okay? So, can we call health enhancing physical activity sport or not? Then what we need, I think, probably is some scientific evidence. It is necessary to convince ourselves if and how sport can be good for health and determine if the sports sector can really contribute to enhance people's health.